For this lesson, we'll use this example to actually understand the concept of vertical projectile motion, but we would like to get started with the equations surrounding vertical projectile motion. Let's use the case of throwing a stone upwards as a good example. If I'm to throw a stone vertically upwards, I am going to throw the stone with an initial velocity from my hand, and we'll call the initial velocity u. As I've thrown the stone, here is my hand, and I'm throwing the stone upwards. I've thrown the stone with an initial velocity u from my hand. The stone is going to go upwards until a particular time when it begins to come downwards. Now, at this particular point, the highest height of the stone, we say it at a velocity v. At that point, the velocity of that stone would have reduced to 0 meters per second. At the same time, the stone would have moved from velocity u to the final velocity v under gravity, that is, under acceleration due to gravity. And we'll call the acceleration due to gravity g. So here, a is equals to negative g. Why negative? Because the velocity reduced. The velocity was reducing from u up to 0. Now, so from our first equation of motion, we'll remember that v is equals to u plus at. Now from here, my v here, the final velocity, is equals to 0, and this is equals to my initial velocity plus a. My a is minus g, and the whole movement from throwing the stone to the highest height here, the whole movement was concluded in a time what? Time t. So that 0 is equals to u minus gt. So that u now, obviously, my minus gt can come to this side of the equation, so that gt is equals to u. Now, if gt is equals to u, obviously t is equals to u over g. Now, at the same time, let's look at how to calculate the height the stone would have attained. For me to throw the stone from this point and I'm throwing it upward, definitely it would have attained a maximum height h max. Now remember our formula from our projectile, from our equations of motion, that says v squared is equals to u squared plus 2as. Here our v is equals to 0 as we have stated. That means 0 squared is equals to u squared plus 2 into minus g, and our s here is a maximum height which we refer to as what? h max. So that 0 now will be equals to u squared minus 2g h max. So that if u comes up, let's move the whole of the negative side. If minus 2g h max comes to this side, becomes 2g h max is equals to u squared. So that obviously my h max, if I divide both sides by g, by 2g, will be equals to u squared over 2g. What I've simply done, I have made h max the subject of the formula. We have a lesson that covers how to treat subject of formulas, how to treat functions. I will place a link in the description to help you in case you need more lessons on that. Now, so with that, we can see that our t is equals to u over g, and at the same time, our h max is equals to u squared over 2g. Now let's use this question to further understand how to treat vertical project. Our question says that a tennis ball was thrown vertically upwards. Now here is the tennis ball. It was thrown vertically upwards from the ground. Here's the ground. That means this is the ground with an initial velocity. That's with a velocity of what? 50 meters per second. Now it's going to get to the highest height here and begin to come down. At this highest height, you see the maximum, calculate the maximum height reached. We have to calculate the maximum height reached. At the maximum height, you know that v at the maximum height is already equal to what? 0. Now from our formula, you remember that we said our h max is equals to u squared over 2g. So that h max, which is the maximum height it would have reached, h max will be equals to u squared, that's 50 squared, all over 2 into g. G, let's assume g to be 10. I know g is equals to 9.8 meters per second squared, but let's approximate to be 10 for convenience. Now that this is equals to 15 times 50 over 2 times 10. 10 here is 1, 10 here is 5, 2 here is 1, 2 here is what? Is 25. 25 times 5, that's obviously 125 meters. So the maximum height reached for this stone should be, for this tennis ball, would be 125 meters. Now the second part of the question wants us to calculate the time it takes to reach the maximum height. Remember that the time taken is something as t is equals to u over g. We're not looking at the time taken for the whole distance, but just the time taken to reach the maximum height. Now that means t now will be equals to my u is 15 and my g we've assumed to be 10. That's equals to 5. 10 in 50 is 5. That's 5 seconds. So with 5 seconds, the stone would have reached the maximum height. Thank you for staying with us, and do watch out for next video on our physics class, and we'll treat more questions. Thank you.